Howdy folks, Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer. It's that time again. Time for another beer 30. Let's go. Cheers. Haven't done one of these in a while. I haven't done a beer 30. Today we're going to talk about a very pertinent, trending topic. We're going to talk about Pokemon Go. But I'm going to expand a little bit on that topic because what Pokemon Go, what that craze has done is it has shed light on a bigger issue. So we'll talk about both. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about Pokemon Go, and we'll talk about the bigger issue that I think it brings to the table. So let's start off with today's selection for the beer to be tested here. This one is called Shipyard Export. Let's see if there we go. Shipyard Export. And this is, let's see here, this is brewed and bottled by Shipyard Brewing in Portland, Maine. So this one is all the way from Maine. I got this at our local state liquor store, and I've had this one for quite a while in my test. I have a section of my bar area back there where I keep all what I call my testers, and these are the ones I do beer 30s on. And it's been there for a while. But it is a lighter, as you can see, it is a lighter color ale, like the color of a lager. And it is about 150 degrees outside, and I like lighter beers when it's hot out. So let's give this a taste here. Wow. That's not what I was expecting. That is a very full-bodied it's not a lager. It's definitely not a lager. It's got it as a handcrafted ale, and you can tell it's fermented differently than a lager. I can't remember, lager is top fermented or bottom fermented, and ale is the opposite. But regardless, this is definitely an ale. This has a lot of complex flavors going on. Yeah, there is just the right amount of hoppiness, and as you know, I'm not a hop head, but it's got hoppiness. There's something else in there that I'm missing, but I can tell it's got a fairly decent alcohol content too. Let's see if we can see what that is. Let's see. Yeah, by the way, this says best enjoyed before February of 2015. So you can tell I've had it for a while. I don't go by any of that. As long as the bottle's not opened, I don't really care. It does not say what the alcohol content is, but I can tell that it is significant. But it... yeah, that's a good beer. That has maltiness to it. It's got all kinds of stuff going on. So, anyway, let's talk about Pokemon Go and the bigger issue that brings to light. I have played a little bit of it. I downloaded it, screwed around with it a little bit. It has been too hot. I'm an old fat guy, and I don't go wandering the neighborhood in 110 degrees, so I will wait till it's cooler and play with it then. So, but the bigger issue that it brings up is the fact that it's getting people out, and they're all over. The kids are everywhere, grown-ups are everywhere playing this thing, and in my opinion, that's fantastic. It's a community thing where people can get out and do it together. They can go to the park. They got Pokestops or whatever it is, where they can gather and chase Pokemon and whatnot. and I'm a gamer, and it's a game, so I'm all for it. I've noticed two things. Number one was predictable. Number one was people are going to start not paying attention when they're driving and doing things like that and trying to play the game at the same time. Obviously, that's a stupid thing to do. But none of us are shocked that we're finding out, people, oh, this person had a car accident because they were, looking at their phone, which is the same thing as texting and driving, whatever. Stupid thing to do. But the other thing that I've noticed is that people were posting on Facebook and other social media about Pokemon and what they were doing and this story and that story about Pokemon. And then you got people who were irritated by that. And so they started posting on Facebook things like the world is burning down, because of everything that happened in France. And then Turkey had a coup and all kinds of stuff going on. Protesters, with the election, people getting ready for the Olympics, and there's all these problems with the Olympics. All this stuff's going on, and people are posting about Pokemon Go. And there are these people on Facebook who, for whatever reason, don't like it. And so they're posting things like, the world is burning down and people are out there chasing imaginary creatures. Or you're a 40-some-year-old man. What are you doing chasing Pokemon? All this shit where they're basically belittling the idea of somebody going out and enjoying this game. And it brings me back to the late 70s, early 80s, when, everybody was, when D&D first, when Dungeons & Dragons first came out, and it was this huge craze, and the media started jumping on saying, oh, it's the devil's game, and blah, blah, blah. But in addition to that, people were also saying, oh, to people that were grown-ups at the time, because I was a kid still, but to the grown-ups at the time, well, how can you be playing that? That's a game. That's a kid's game. What are you wasting your time for? Well, you got shit to do, all this. And so that, it's nothing new. It's just whatever the fad is at the time, other people decide to attack it and say you should be spending your time doing other things because you're an adult or whatever label they want to put on, things. And it prods me to have to say to all those people, mind your own goddamn business. If somebody if they enjoy basket weaving and they want to be a basket weaving enthusiast, I couldn't care less. More power to you. I hope you weave the best baskets ever weaved in the history of the world. And I hope that if you enjoy traveling to exotic locations to find baskets that have been weaved by the ancestors of that tribe hundreds of years ago, and they have been preserved, and they show the craftsmanship of old world basket weaving, and you enjoy, and that is your passion. God bless you. Absolutely, go do it. Have a ball. I got no problem with it, and that's why I say people shouldn't have a goddamn problem with a grown man either playing Pokemon or Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, World of Warcraft. I do it all, and I don't expect anybody to. I don't want to be judged. I don't want people saying, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing that." It's like, kiss my ass. I'm gonna do it anyway. So I just noticed that with the Pokemon thing that all these trolls were coming out of the woodwork to try and belittle people that were enjoying this new activity. They went on for so long. The stereotypes were, oh, gamers kids are on the couch too much, playing video, stuck to the TV, and everything else. And here's a game that's getting them out of the house and socializing and exercising, for lack of a better term. And now they're bitching and moaning about that. It's like, you guys can't, these people that are judgmental can never be satisfied. No matter what society does, they can't be satisfied. See, now they're getting me all worked up, and I gotta finish my beer. I do that too. I drink beer too. I'm sure there's people out there who, want to be judgmental about that. Oh, you're going to be an alcoholic. Well, I'm almost 50 years old, and I'm not alcoholic yet, as far as I know, you know. Anyway, that was today's video. I'd be really interested to know, number one, are you playing Pokemon Go? And number two, have you noticed on your Facebook feed or Twitter or anywhere else where people are shaming? They're activity shaming people because they're choosing to go play Pokemon Go. That's a great, there's a new term, activity shaming. Or let's say hobby shaming. There we go, hobby shaming people that are playing Pokemon. I'm not going to shame the person that loves basket weaving, and I don't expect them to shame me for playing video games or D&D. So, there you go. Anyway, if you can find this is a damn good beer. It is not, like I was expecting more of a very light lager, kind of a thirst-quenching hot summer day beer. And what I got was a very complex, deep-flavored, full-bodied ale. And that's a good thing. I mean, it's good. But I was basically expecting another version of, like, Budweiser or Corona or something like that. And that ain't what this is. So, that's it, guys. We'll catch you on the flip side.